Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you are all here.
I'm gonna need you to make it spooky.
So for the month of August, I will be doing Hallo Tarot. I did this initially, the first time I did this was last year. I actually bunched like a group of videos together in 1 week, so that was a lot of work. So we're not going to be doing that this week, but it is still going to be Hallo Tarot themed, which you can see with like my intro changes and stuff like that. What I like to do around this time of year, I guess, which is around obviously related to the Halloween time, is just work with a bit of darker energies and really just figure out those things that we like to just tuck under the surface, that type of thing. I like to just, not me literally dabbling in evil spirits or dark energies, but like, yeah, looking at our darker energies, our shadows, that type of thing. That's really what the interest is around this time of year. So yeah, welcome to Hallo Tarot, and I hope you enjoy it. For today's video, we are going to be looking at the story of your subconscious. I wanted to include an intro in this video, as I do for most of my intros, for most of my videos, but especially for this one because it is a bit different, or it's a lot different actually from what I usually do as like kind of my pick a card or tarot reading for the week. So when I mean like a story of your subconscious, I literally mean like a story, like I created a story. So I just want to talk through the process of you, or basically how I did everything. So basically I created a story kind of embodying the characteristics of your subconscious, its fears, its characteristics, its nature, its desires, that type of thing. So they're all like pretty short stories. I felt like it was a lot of pressure because I didn't want to include any other characters in it because that would just make things too confusing, and I just wanted to like kind of, I don't know, I just hope that it kind of resonates with people and you kind of connect with the portrayal of your subconscious, if that makes sense. It might be a little bit difficult, like some of the messages were not harsh, but I guess quite brutal, and maybe if you're not ready to hear them, then you'll be like, that's not me or whatever, but we'll see. Anyway, obviously if it doesn't actually feel like it is you, then don't take it on board, because it is a general reading, as I always say, and especially with the way I did it, it's certain things will be more specific to other people than other things, if that makes sense. It is still a divination based reading. I used tarot, I used oracle cards, and I also used semi-automatic writing. So for this video, I want you to basically go on the images, but I did connect each image to a crystal, so I'll show you those now. I'm not going to tell you what order, what crystal I put with which image, because I do want you to mostly go based off of the image that you're most drawn to, but I do want, maybe you're connected to the crystal and then you're also connected to the same image, and then it will kind of be like a double confirmation for you. If not, that's fine as well. So the options for the crystals, or the crystals that I used for the readings, I should say. First of all, we had Aragonite. Well, not first, but we have Aragonite. That's one of the crystals I worked with for this reading. I also worked with a Smokey Quartz. And finally, I worked with the black Tourmaline. So obviously if you were drawn to any of the crystals that I showed here right now, then once we get to the image selection part of the video, then you can obviously go off the image and then maybe double confirm it with the crystal that it relates to as well. I don't know whether I'm going to tell you the crystal at the end of the reading or the beginning of it, so I'll figure that out afterwards. But yeah, I think we should just get straight into it. I think I've explained everything. All I would say extra information would be that maybe you want to close your eyes when you get to the reading, because there's nothing significant happening on screen. It's more so an auditory experience, so you might want to close your eyes so that you can digest the information and really immerse yourself in the kind of character and their environments type thing. So yeah, I will see you at your reading, I guess.
And as always, please remember that this is a general reading, so only take what resonates. Because you are not the ugly stepsister, please do not force that shoe onto your foot. I seem to spend a lot of time in the forest these days. I like that the trees tower so high above me, sheltering me from the high winds, invoking a sense of safety. I love to watch the daylight peer through the odd gaps in the trees, bounce off of leaves until it's finally swallowed by the earth. This is my comfort zone. Here I feel at home. On occasion, people wander into the forest, likely attempting to escape the same overwhelming sense of duty. Beyond the home I have made in the forest is the old world, the source of my anxieties, money, relationships, time. This world calls for order, even in its constant state of chaos. I've always struggled to make sense of it. In this world, as much as I would battle my own emotions and desires, I always felt the need to battle other people's too. When they were good, I was good. Their smiles soared high and simultaneously my heart fluttered too. But when their tears streamed as if to fill a lake, I knew I would succumb to the same fate. People in the old world commended me for my humour, bright smile, creativity, and ambitious dreams. However, they seldom saw my incessant need to please others, fears that my ambitions may forever remain as such, an idea, a passing comment, thought that I lack the discipline to make a reality. And most importantly, the loneliness that comes from feeling so misunderstood. My connection to Source is something that forever remains a constant in my life. It is my comrade as I battle against these fears. It reminds me how strong I am, even if it is the same strength that acts as shadows in my dreams. It reminds me I'm not alone, even if at times I can feel so lonely. It helps me understand that making profound decisions is part of being a leader. And when I find myself residing in this part of the forest for too long, it reminds me that taking action towards my dreams are the only way they'll stop taking up so much space in my head. So my message to you, listener, who found resonance with our story. When you feel overwhelmed by the demands of the other world, I want you to immerse yourself in a body of water. Use its healing abilities to cleanse you of otherworld energies and make yourself a meal. Nourish your body and steady your mind by focusing solely on the task of preparing something tasty for you to eat.
So hi, those of you who chose image number 1, that is the end of your reading / story that I created for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I wanted to add a little end section just to kind of like talk about the crystal that came with your reading, which was Smokey Quartz here. So if you were felt connected to the Smokey Quartz in the beginning, and then also chose image number 1, then hi. Obviously, if you didn't feel connected to Smokey Quartz, then that is completely fine as well. So when I look I look up a bit about the crystal meanings and stuff like that. It's actually, one thing it's connected to Smokey Quartz is the druids or druid, which is supposedly a high-ranking class in ancient Celtic cultures. And I guess in a way of what the druids kind of represented is how I see you guys, or how your subconscious sees you at least, is someone who people come to, hopefully you can't hear that noise, come to for information, for guidance, and then also kind of like a monk style thing where like people come to you for inspiration, guidance, and you're not very, and you need a lot of space, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Like with it being high ranking, you know, people who are high ranking usually think of having less access to them, and I feel like that's to do with you as well. Is it will be beneficial for you, or at least maybe how your life will go is people feel like they don't have much access to you, but the access that they get to you in terms of like knowledge or that type of thing is really beneficial to them. So it's basically just about creating those boundaries. And then also, obviously I'm saying this because not everything I could include in the story, otherwise it would have just taken too long, if I'm being honest with you. I realized that you guys are willing to go on good adventures, and I feel like I don't think you so much crave adventure, but I think when the opportunity arises, you are the type of people who, your subconscious feels like you're the type of people who will say yes to these things. Like you're not afraid to say yes to the impossible, whether that is just going on an adventure, saying yes to the impossible in terms of creating something or bringing an idea to life. You guys have a talent for self-expression, and you're always searching for a purpose in life. And I feel like that's kind of what drives you, is fulfilling this purpose. I felt very Piscean energy with you guys, as well as, I can't remember, I also feel quite Aries as well. It feels as if your subconscious has been trying to get your attention for quite a while. So maybe you've been having quite active dreams, or you've just been feeling, I'm not sure, but that was the first message I got, is that they've been trying to get your attention for a while. So there is that. So hopefully this reading is coming in good timing for you guys. Also, another thing with Smokey Quartz is about grounding yourself, and because you guys are big dreamers, you struggle to kind of ground those in reality and really get things moving and starting on those big projects or ideas that you want to create. Furthermore, it's about healing from difficult and painful situations. I feel like that's something that you guys struggle with. Your subconscious holds on to these relationships, experiences, and as much as you are learning from them, it's almost like sometimes they take too much of a hold on you, and it's difficult for you to move on. Because one of the messages here I have is, I can't move on. I want a new beginning, but I can't move on. So I feel like, again, it's just about taking that step forwards, as I think it was in your story as well. I hope your story kind of covered that. But yeah, the Smokey Quartz, if you guys definitely should pick some of this up if you don't have any, but about moving past those negative energies, transmuting them, and really just clearing out those darker energies. So I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You can support the channel by engaging, like thumbs up, comments. If you want to support me in another way, I also do have a virtual tip jar down below. If you want to see more from me, then you can also subscribe down below. I post mostly spiritual and lifestyle content because I like to switch it up. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.
The house remains quiet, whilst the world outside continues to buzz. I draw close the curtains, hoping to find some warmth within this empty house I reluctantly call home. I pull out the chair, trying my best to avoid any potential friction with the freshly laid floor, and sit down, tucking myself under the brass-coloured desk. One of the few furniture items I've built since moving here. I open my laptop in an attempt to begin my new works project I volunteered to take the lead on. I'm not much of a planner, so after a few minutes of staring into space and snapping back into reality, I shut it again. and leaned back to slouch further into my chair. Since you're here, I'll let you in on a little secret. The real reason I put myself forward to lead such a difficult project was because I know if I succeed at this, there is no way they will turn me down for the next available promotion. I have little interest in the logistics of things, a key skill for this project, but I feel proving my worth needs to come first right now. Anyways, I have always been a strong leader, and a managerial position is something I'm very comfortable with. Feeling restless and irritable from the beautifully but poorly designed chair, I made a decision to get up and head to the kitchen. A dream space that pushed me to finally purchase this property. The chair was another impulsive purchase I had made after a comment from a co-worker that oddly seemed to hit a nerve. I passed by a large mirror that leant lazily against the wall and turned to look into it.
You are strong. You are confident. I am unique in my boldness. Abundance is my birthright.
I spoke aloud, reciting my affirmations that produced a glaze of fog on the mirrored surface with every word I spoke. These affirmations are a daily practice of mine. They keep the shadows away that try to seep through the defenseless areas of this home. The shadows creep in when people ask too much of me. I know all it wants is to understand me, my emotions, the details of my plans, highlight the truth for my obsession for success. I've stabilized the defenses against this though, using my quick wit, displaying bravado and obtaining luxury materials banishes them from my new home. I do find, however, that this constant mode of defense leads to impulsiveness and distance from others to where only my reality feels real. And so, a message to you, listener, who found resonance with my story. Before you continue to look ahead, look around. Write a gratitude list as a daily reminder of all the blessings that already exist around you. Take the time to make a meal. I know you love to cook, so make it a bigger part of your day. Put on some music and fully get lost in the process of creating something tasty for you to eat. And finally, take a break. Or plan a vacation at least. Because deep down, no one knows more than you that life is made for living.
So hi, those of you who chose image number 2, thank you so much for watching this reading. I wanted to add a little ending clip here because I wanted to include a bit more information that couldn't be added into the story because it would have just taken forever and it was too long. So I wanted to just make sure that you had all the information that you needed as well. You guys were also connected to the Aragonite. So if you obviously were connected to it at the beginning of the reading and then chose image number 2, then congratulations. And if you didn't, that's completely fine. So Aragonite is actually, funny enough, linked to the color yellow. And I have here in my notes, I wrote everything up first of all, I have color yellow was being very important for you, and before I even knew it was connected to the Aragonite, but also connected to the solar plexus. But I was gonna say maybe yellow is important to you, or maybe incorporating that color into your life, because color can actually really affect the energies that are present in our life. Also, its properties are about emotional stability, mental strength, and perception as well. And I saw that one of your fears was being emotionally unbalanced or unstable, or not seeing things clearly. Maybe you're prone to impulsiveness, and there's a need to practice temperance. Practicing restraint is one thing that your subconscious had expressed a struggle of. You might also find yourself, when you're anxious, maybe double checking or over checking, presenting some kind of overconfidence as well. because I found as I was doing your reading, I was like really doubtful of myself, and I was double checking things like more, quite excessively as well, in an excessive amount. So that might be something that you guys do as well in your day-to-day lives. And also you guys might be a little bit more logical, but you are also very connected and guided by spirit, so lean into that a bit more, rely upon your spirit guides, engage with them a bit more. I had here that you guys should, if you don't have an altar, it might be a good idea to build an altar. And I feel like for you guys, an altar that allows you to connect with either your ancestors or spirit guides or that type of thing, and also giving thanks through the using the altar as kind of like a bridge to connect you guys. Also, I saw that water is very important for you, and that didn't come up in your reading necessarily, but I just felt this really great pull to water for you guys. So I feel as well, because you guys have these quite gifted abilities, and I feel like your abilities come through water, so you guys would be really good at water divination, or using water in your divination practices if you do any, or if you're thinking about picking something up but you're not sure what you would be good at, that could be something, an avenue for you. Yeah, again, it says here that sometimes the spirit messages from spirits you might ignore because it's not logical, or it doesn't appear practical to you, but I think you need to just take those on board a little bit more, because they are coming through. Your intuition is playing a role in your life, and you have a good intuition, so do rely on it a bit more. Last thing, I feel like maybe some of you guys have a strong connection with either a grandmother, or you lived with a grandmother when you were younger, because when I was picturing the environment that your subconscious lived in, I saw a rocking chair, and I saw it felt like an elderly figure, at least in the environment. So let me know if any of you guys have a grandmother, or you're connected to that person, and if they have passed away, then also another tip for the altar is maybe you can put an image of that person on there, or something that was special to them or belonged to them, or something that they liked. And I think connecting with that person again, if you have kind of lost that connection, will be really beneficial for you as well. That is everything that I have for you guys. Those of you who chose image number 2, thank you so much for watching this reading. I would love if you could support the channel by giving it a thumbs up or commenting below. If you would like to support me in another way, then there is also a virtual tip jar down below. If you'd also like to see more from me, then you can subscribe down below. I post mostly spiritual and lifestyle content because I like to switch it up. And I will see you in my next one. Bye!
I love the feeling of the grass that playfully brushes against my feet as it's tickled by the wind. The sun is at its peak, blaring down, planting tiny kisses on my face. This is my happy place, my home away from home. I'm not completely alone here. Cows roam amongst this meadow, using the playful grass as fuel. I believe my love for the sun comes from my likeness to it. Just as the plants orbit around it, I often find people gravitate towards me. Those I surround myself with seem to commend me for my ability to bring fun and lightheartedness to any situation. I am pretty open-minded, so I understand why people seek guidance from me. Although, sometimes I forget that my truth is not everyone else's too. As much as I love being around people, the life of the party, some may say, what I truly desire is freedom. One of the reasons I find myself escaping to this area of the meadow so often. The large, outstretched area of land with nothing for miles but the cows that inhabit it. I wish I could spend more time out here, fully take the plunge and escape city life. But I fear, who would I be without those around me? What if they forgot me? Move on because they've realized I'm not worth it. I know it's contradictory, but this fear is also what stops me from connecting. I'm so protective of my emotions and dreams because what if they only really love me when I'm looking after theirs? What if who I am isn't truly enough? Everyone loves a happy person, so that's who I choose to be. Expressions of sadness or anger are never received well by others. It leads to conflict, or they're perceived as an admission for someone in need, and neither of these environments have been something I felt comfortable with. So, a message to you, listener, who found resonance with my story. When these anxieties and fears creep in, I want you to connect with the earth. Take off your shoes and absorb the vibrations of the earth through your hands and feet. Find some alone time where you can express your authentic self. Sometimes I want you to find comfort in stillness, allowing the waves of emotion to pass through you, feeling but not judging. Other times I want you to dance. Make a playlist and press shuffle. Then dance like no one's watching for the entirety of the song. Let go, be free.
Hi, those of you who chose image number 3. It was also related to the black tourmaline. So if you ended up picking that at the beginning of the reading and then also choosing image number 3, then congratulations. Well done for that strong intuition. If not, that is completely fine, because hopefully the reading still resonated with you. I wanted to add a little bit on the end here to just kind of speak a bit more about what I saw in your reading and make sure that you are getting all the information that came through from your subconscious. So with black tourmaline being your crystal as well, I definitely see it being linked to self-confidence and power, as well as seeing a objective view of the world. And I saw that in your reading. Sometimes you might take on other people's opinions a bit too much, to a point where it kind of limits you from being your full self. And I think here, if you don't have black tourmaline, then maybe it would be a good idea to get some, or really just implementing those qualities into your life, where it kind of gets rid of, blocks out other people's energies and just allows you to sit with yours a bit more and really hone into what you are feeling, not what everyone else is feeling too. So you might have a lot of people that doubt you, maybe because you are so outgoing and your ideas are so big, and they try to kind of like bring you back down to earth, but that's not what you necessarily need all the time, because you do have the force behind your ideas to make them become a reality. So definitely this crystal here again is able to help you bat away those energies, those negative ones, the ones that aren't really that are maybe trying to support you, but really it's just their own perception that it's coming through there. Another thing for you guys is remembering that divine timing is so important, and that not to fight against this, but the quicker you surrender to it, the quicker you accept that everything works better when we listen to divine timing. But the more things that will come to you, the more blessed you will feel, and just in general, the better things will work out for you. You won't have to go down the tricky road because you've waited patiently for the blessing, basically. I also noticed here that you are quite a chameleon person, but it's not a chameleon like those who chose image number 1, where they were able to blend in. It's a chameleon where you're able to stand out because you can connect with different types of people. You know how to bring different types of people together, and you know how to fit into a group, if that makes sense, in a real way that you're still expressing who you are. So also black tourmaline is all about providing a connection between the earth and the human spirit. So I found you guys very connected to the earth, especially when I saw your environment here and you were pictured in a meadow. Pictured in the meadow, I see that you have the practicality and wisdom that sometimes maybe you don't lean into too much, or you don't express too much. People closer to you might be able to see that wisdom about you because it is there. And maybe sometimes you play into the entertainer / joker personality more than the knowledgeable, I don't know, wise personality, which obviously you can blend both in there. And I think that's just a mention there to make sure that you're not just showing one side of you all the time, because you are very multifaceted and I see that you have a lot to offer people. Last thing is that it's all about also a protection stone, and I see that you guys are very protective of your emotions and possibly ideas as well, depending on your experiences in life. So I think for you guys, there is a need to be, your subconscious wants you to be a little bit more open when it comes to this thing. I know it does scare. It is a fear of your subconscious, is to be open about your emotions, but also making sure that you do express these to the right people, to the people that you feel like you can trust, and you're not giving away too much of yourself to people who aren't actually filling you back up. So that is everything that I have for you guys. Those of you who chose last image, the image number 3, thank you so much for watching this reading. If you enjoyed it, then please support this channel by giving a thumbs up, commenting down below. If you'd like to support me in another way, then I also have a virtual tip bar down below. And if you want to see more from me, then you can also subscribe down below. I post mostly spiritual and lifestyle content because I like to mix it up. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.